Hi, I'm Marty Nemko. Thanksgiving, as well as Christmas and New Year's, tend to be filled with hope for fun and connection, but sometimes those high expectations are far from met. If you're throwing a holiday party, avoiding these turkeys should help. First, not starting your list early. If you start early, you've got time to remember somebody if you forgot that person who was important. So make your list now. Think through everyone you might invite. You're less likely to forget someone if you do it in a structured way. Start with maybe your friends, then your family, then people in your work life, then in your recreational life. The next 10 mistakes that can gobble up your holiday cheer: in waiting too late to send the invitations. That increases the chance that the people will have made other plans. But the exception, of course, is people you feel you have to invite but would rather didn't come. With such people, you can maybe wait until a week or so before, without generating undue ire. Another mistake is inviting the wrong people. Often there are one or two people that you're expected to invite, but who bring too great a danger of ruining the festivities. Maybe it's that uncle who won't relent in his educating everyone about his political wisdom, or the aunt who gets so intoxicated that she dominates in an embarrassing way. Or maybe it's someone who is gasoline to another invitee's match. It could explode. If you're worried about two people blowing up, might you invite one to Thanksgiving, the other to a Christmas or New Year's Eve party or other holiday event? How would you feel about lying to that person, saying that you're not doing Thanksgiving this year? No, because of the ethics? No, because he or she'd find out? Or is it a white lie that in the cosmic scheme of things is a wise approach? Another of the mistakes that can gobble up your holiday cheer is taking on too much work. Some people enjoy making an all-out Thanksgiving, a panoply of homemade hot hors d'oeuvres, a turkey with all the trimmings, 2 different homemade pies, and so on. And yes, that makes people feel very welcome. But if that makes you feel frazzled and unable to enjoy the party at all, that toll may not be worth it. In that case, you want to make it potluck? Or a compromise. You make the turkey and let the other people bring the sides and the appetizers. Or have Thanksgiving delivered. For example, the Boston Market Thanksgiving is quite delicious for about $12 a person. And by the way, I'm not paid by Boston Market or anyone to ever mention any products. In this case, I simply have had a good experience with Boston Market's Thanksgiving feast. Another mistake to avoid: too loud music. True, some people get off on a loud environment, but most people prefer soft to moderate music, both because it's more relaxing and so they don't have to yell to be heard. Another one is lack of activities. At most parties, things start to slow down after an hour or so. It can help to have an activity or two. Of course, there's the traditional activity, going around the table and saying something you're grateful for, or the variant that I like because it tends to trigger fresher ideas: what's a person, place, thing, food, or anything else you're grateful for? Also, between the main course and dessert, you might get people out of their chairs with a Turkey Day scavenger hunt. Here's how I do it. Divide your guests into teams of 2 to 4 people each, and give each team a list of the 5 items you've hidden around the house, around the block, even around the neighborhood. If you have, say, 4 groups, you're going to hide 4 of each item. If you're worried about the weather, make it a drivable scavenger hunt. Or if you don't mind people traipsing around at least party your abode in the house. The items I'm going to be using this year: feathers, which are available cheap on the internet. Go to eBay and just Google feathers. You'll find I'm getting 20 feathers for $4, free shipping. Arrowheads, 5 of them for $4, also free shipping on eBay. A paper turkey colored in by the invited kids and the adults. A paper scarecrow that's similarly colored. A cob of Indian corn, or if that's not available where you shop, candy corn will do. If you want to add a little brainy challenge to the scavenger hunt, on the list, instead of naming the items, provide a clue to what it is and where it's hidden. Here are the clues I'm going to be providing. For the feathers, which I'll hide under the doormat, I'll write, "It's a lightweight, and so are you, bird brain, if you don't search for it underneath this item. After all, it's the first thing you saw here today." For the arrowheads, which I'll hide in the mailbox, I'll write, "You certainly don't want this delivered, especially into your head or heart. For the paper scarecrows, which I'll hide in a cabinet in the kitchen's right side, I'll write, "Dare you look inside the right door, you'll get scared. Caw, caw." For the Indian corn, which I'll hang onto a tree in the backyard, I'll write, "Who said corn doesn't grow on trees?" And for the paper turkeys, which I'll attach to the front page of a newspaper, I'll write, "It would be news to me if you were such a turkey that you would try to roast this bird." The next mistake to watch out for if you're throwing a holiday party is food that's unnecessarily fattening and guilt-inducing. People end up feeling guilty and a couple of pounds heavier for having overeaten at Thanksgiving or at Christmas. And no one is saying you should serve steamed tofu instead of stuffing, but the internet makes it easier to find lower calorie yet delicious versions of holiday favorites. For example, just Google healthy Thanksgiving recipes. And alongside the calorific items that you do want to have, let's say your whipped cream covered pecan pie, it couldn't hurt to also put out some fresh fruit and sherbet. The next mistake to avoid is to avoid awkward questions. The mistake is avoiding awkward questions. Often there's a friend or family member who's been through a tough time. Unemployed, divorced, lost a loved one, has a substance abuse problem. On one hand, if you don't ask about it, you seem uncaring, but if you do, you're potentially embarrassing. Of course, every situation is different, but a rule of thumb is when people are milling around or watching the football game or so on, and you see an opportunity to speak privately with the person, gently ask if it's okay to ask about the issue. For example, "I know you've been going through a divorce. Do you feel like telling me how it's going, or would you rather not?" Another mistake to avoid if you're throwing a party is to not nipping the problem person in the bud. As mentioned earlier, there's often one or two invitees who are high risk for disrupting the party. As appropriate, defer or don't offer the person alcohol, especially strong stuff. And as you see them start to cause a problem, tactfully intervene. That could be as simple as distracting the person. "Hey, I just got this cool product that you just bought or whatever. You want to see it?" If stronger measures are necessary, you might take the person aside and ask, "I'm wondering if you're at risk of saying or doing something you're going to regret later. What do you think?" And finally, the final mistake to avoid is ignoring impaired driving, ignoring people who are at risk of driving impaired. As you're saying goodbye to your guests, try to assess if someone's going to be driving who you sense shouldn't be. If so, consider asking a sober person, maybe the person's partner, if he or she thinks that that person should drive. I hope that one or more of these tips can make your Thanksgiving something that you can indeed be thankful for. In any event, I do thank you for watching. I am Marty Nemko. I welcome your thumbs up, accept your thumbs down. I appreciate your comments. You're hitting the share button and sharing on your social media and or subscribing to my channel. And in any event, I do thank you for watching. I am Marty Nemko.